We turn now to a story of environmental contamination that has been brewing for decades. At issue, toxic water contamination at Camp Lejeune military base in North Carolina. A new report from the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry has indicated that the contamination at Camp Lejeune may go back as far as 1953. Michigan Congressman John Dingell is calling for further hearings on the issue. Congressman Dingell is joining us here in our studios, along with retired Marine Master Sgt. Ensminger, who says his 9-year-old daughter died of leukemia from the toxic tap water at Camp Lejeune. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. I know this is a very difficult subject to investigate and talk about, but Congressman Dingell, it's estimated that at least 1 million people may have been affected by these toxic waters, people who've either died or babies born with birth defects. How has this issue gone on for so long without any final remedy?
Well, it is a problem which is not peculiar to Camp Lejeune, and it is in several forms. First of all, we have a terrible problem of contamination at all military bases, or at least most military bases. We also have a strong lack of cooperation from the military in their refusal to clean up and to be honest about what has happened. And Sergeant Ensminger can tell you more about what happened at Lejeune. But it goes beyond that. The military is still seeking exemptions from federal laws which relate to the environment and protection of its personnel and the public generally from the kind of contamination we're talking about. The matter is also very serious because the amount of contamination in some cases, the limit is 5 parts per billion, and they are coming up with 750 parts per billion. That's many, many times.
That's many times indeed. Jerry, I know your daughter died of leukemia at the young age of 9. We're so sorry for your loss. Did you have trouble convincing folks that your daughter's illness could be traced back to the water?
Well, yes. I mean, initially, when I first started into this fight back in 1997, I was told by representatives of the military, both the Department of the Navy and Marine Corps, that that ATSDR, the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, was blowing this out of proportion, that the levels of contaminants at Camp Lejeune that we were being exposed to were either minute or trace. They said that we really didn't have anything to worry about. And the further this thing went along and the longer I was involved in it and the more I found out about it, well, the truth started coming out. And the truth was that Camp Lejeune is now known as one of the worst contaminated drinking water incidents in the history of the world.
It's unbelievable. Congressman, let me ask you, I've read that many Marines from the camp are having trouble getting disability benefits from the VA because they have to prove, as I understand it, a direct connection between their medical condition and the water. Now, that's been difficult in and of itself because there have been so many efforts made to say that you have to have scientific proof that there's this direct tie, and yet for some of these people, they can't get it.
Well, I think that has been corrected, or at least I hope it has. Last August in 2012, the President signed legislation in this, which was in good part named after Jamie, the sergeant's daughter. And all you have to establish is that the individual served there or was a member of a family which served there at the time. There is, however, a very serious problem, and that is we're finding out that instead of being 1957, it actually was about 1953. So there are 4 years of people who are not being taken care of. And I've not been doing this alone. Senator Burr and other members of the Senate and Brad Miller also and Senator Hagan have been working on this. And legislation will shortly be introduced to correct this. If there's, I've got to say, this is like peeling an onion. The more you peel,
the more you're finding out.
The more
really,
you find.
I'm running out of time, Jerry. Really quickly, where do you go with this at this point? What are your goals at this point to try to bring this issue to a close?
Well, first and foremost, we need the whole truth about what happened at Camp Lejeune. How did this happen? How did it get to this point? And we also need the truth from the military leadership, the leadership of the United States Marine Corps and the Department of the Navy. We need the whole truth from these people as to how this happened and how this was covered up for all these years.
Well, let's hope you get some answers really soon. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you both all the best.